The rally in Washington Square Park was a hit when people of all kinds came out to support Barack Obama, one of the most talked about candidates in the 2008 presidential elections. From students to senators to even little children, people all around were there to listen to the senator's promise on what he'll do for the American people. With issues such as health care, taxes, and education on his list, Barack Obama has more than enough people to cast their votes to place him in the White House.
What's up, New York? How's New York City? Now let's face it, part of the reason that some of you are here today, many of you here today, is you are just sick and tired of George Bush. You are tired of Bush and Cheney. You're tired of an administration that treats our Constitution as a nuisance to be avoided as opposed to the very foundation of our liberty and our democracy. You're tired of administration economic policies that widen the divide between rich and poor, so that CEOs are making more in 10 minutes than ordinary people are making in an entire year. And folks are struggling all across America to pay for gas in the gas tank, or save for their child's college education, or save for their own retirement. You're sick and tired of the sight of our fellow citizens standing on rooftops without water, without food, without rescue after a storm. You don't like a Justice Department that doesn't seem to put a big premium on justice. And most of all, you are fed up with a war that should have never been authorized and should have never been waged. A war that's cost us $500 billion and thousands of lives and has not made us more safe, but has diminished our standing in the world. And so the challenge that we have today is restoring a sense that politics is not just a business, but that politics is a mission. That power doesn't always have to trump principle. That we can expect from our leaders that they are going to tell the truth and be honest with you about the problems that we face. And they're not going to equivocate and hedge and hem and haw. We have been talking about health care for decades now, through Democratic and Republican administrations. And yet nothing changes. Year after year, every 4 years, politicians come before you and say, we're going to fix a broken healthcare system. And we know why. Because the drug companies and the insurance companies have spent $1 billion over the last decade keeping reform from happening through Democratic and Republican administrations. And if we're going to change things, we've got to put an end to that kind of business in Washington. We are going to recruit an entire new generation of teachers to fill up our classrooms, and we're going to pay them more money, and we're going to provide them more professional development, and we're going to work with them, not against them, to raise high standards in the schools. And we're going to invest in early childhood education to close the achievement gap. And we're going to set up after school and summer school programs so young people have a place to do their homework if they don't have a quiet place at home. And while we're at it, don't you think it's about time that we made college affordable and accessible for every single American? Let's create programs for national service for every young person. Let's get the banks and the financial institutions out of the student loan business and increase the number of grants. I think the American dream lies before us in the future, which is why we've got to make work pay. If you work every single day, you should not be poor. We should have not just a minimum wage, you should have a living wage. We should encourage, not discourage unions from organizing so they can do what they do best, which is lift people up into the middle class. We should provide tax relief to people who really need it, not to people who weren't asking for it and don't need it. And while we're at it, we should stop giving tax breaks to big corporations that are moving jobs overseas. Let's invest in companies that are investing in you. One of the things that we're going to have to do is recognize we can't just talk to our friends, we also have to talk to our enemies. Our unwillingness to talk to our enemies, that doesn't make us look tough, it makes us look arrogant. I was opposed to the war in Iraq in 2002, 2003, 2004, 5, 6. In 2007, I introduced legislation that said we have to place a timetable. We've got to be as careful getting out as we were careless getting in, but we've got to get our troops out, get all our combat troops home by March 30th of next year. But we are not going to lead just with our military. Yes, we're going to get out of the wrong battlefield in Iraq and get onto the right battlefield, taking on Al-Qaeda and Osama bin Laden. Yes, we're going to lock down nuclear weapons that pose a threat to all of humanity. But we're also going to spend some time listening to the needs of other countries. And we're going to build schools in the Middle East that teach math and science instead of hatred of Americans and Israel. We're going to bring relief to those suffering from HIV/AIDS in sub-Saharan Africa. We're going to bring an end to the genocide in Darfur because we are not a nation that turns a blind eye to slaughter. And while we are at it, we are going to close Guantanamo and we are going to restore habeas corpus because we're not a nation that locks people up without charging them. We are not a nation that sends prisoners off in the dead of night to other countries to be tortured. That is not who we are. We are America, and we stand for something. But the problem is that the game is rigged. And what we need is somebody who's going to put an end to the game playing. The times are too serious. The stakes are too high to play the same political games over and over and over again. We cannot give up now. I guarantee you, as President of the United States, the first thing I will do when I take office is call together the Joint Chiefs of Staff and say, you have a new mission, and that is to get out our troops as quickly and as safely as possible. I will always tell you what I think. I will always tell you where I stand. I will be honest with you about the challenges that we face and the sacrifices that we may have to make together. I will listen to you even when we disagree. And most of all, I want to open up the doors of our government again to you so that we can make American democracy work. Not behind veils of secrecy, not behind dissembling, not behind closed doors. We are going to make America work for you. It goes to show you, New York City, that one voice can change a room. And if one voice can change a room, then it can change a city. And if one voice can change a city, then it can change a state. And if one voice can change a state, it can change a country. And if it can change a country, then it can change the world. So I want to know, New York City, are you fired up? Are you ready to go? Fired up? Ready to go? Fired up? Ready to go?
So who are you voting for? Make sure you register to cast your vote for the next president of the United States in 2008's upcoming presidential election. Reporting for Harlem Live, Shelise Roberts.